Hello and welcome back to Bristol News and our probe around the policies and the personalities of the 13 Bristol Mayoral hopefuls. Each night I go head to head with each of the independent and party-backed candidates, and you can join the fun in the usual way. Details for your questions and your comments on screen now. Tonight, a man who came to Bristol in his mid-20s, in the mid-80s, from his native Nigeria, where his grandfather was a king, making him a prince, of course, but his first name is Mayor, appropriately. I hope you're following this. Let's meet Mayor Festus Kinahimbu. Festus, I'll call you that actually for ease at this stage, but I know you've been asked this a lot, I suppose, when you go around the doors, but for people listening, Mayor is your first name, and that's a pretty common name in Nigeria, isn't it?
Yeah, Mayor is my first name. When the Queen came to Nigeria in 1950-something,
yes.
The name Mayor was very popular, and I was born around that time, and I was given the name Mayor.
And it was almost, I don't know, was it a prophecy maybe that, you know, a number of decades on you could actually be standing for Mayor in England? You could never have imagined that back then, could you?
No.
But you were also a prince, I think, because your grandfather. Tell us about your grandfather being a king. What's going on?
My grandfather was a king of Ahiri land in Nigeria, in Ondo State. So when my father died, my immediate father inherited the post. Yeah. And unfortunately, my father died. So at the moment, the post is being contested.
The post of king?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's being contested, and one of my senior brother is contesting for the mayor, for the king of Ahiri land. So
he's going for the king of Ahiri land in Nigeria, while you're going for the mayor of Bristol.
Yeah, that's right.
It's quite a family Festus. It really is.
It is.
But you were in the Air Force, weren't you, in Nigeria to start with? And when you were about 17, I think you made your first trip to this part of the world, didn't you, at that age?
When I was about the age of 17, I came for training at RF Locking in Western Superman. While I was down there, I studied radar, and that is what I was sent to come and do. Yeah. Yeah.
And then you had to go back to finish your national service.
Yes, I have to. Yeah, I went back. I went back to Nigeria. Yeah. When I finished my course at RF Locking.
But your time at RAF Locking must have been stored away in your head, was it, at that time? Because you came back to Bristol, or you thought that you would come back to this part?
Yeah, when I finished my service, because I signed for 10 years, I finished 10 years, so I decided to come back to Bristol to start a fresh life.
Yeah, which you did, and you've been a taxi driver, haven't you? You've been a cabbie for a number of years here?
I work in different places, you know, but for the past 10 years I've been doing cabbie in Bristol.
And what is it then, through all of this? I know a cabbie is, I love cabbies. I sit in the back and you end up in conversation and you talk and you sort the world out, or you maybe sort the traffic out, I don't know. But when you were living here, were you thinking, actually, I could probably do better myself. I could run this city better than the guys that are doing it?
Yeah, I thought about that. I said to myself, it's best I joined the race to move Bristol forward in terms of transport, housing, and to integrate ethnic minorities together. Yeah. Because all these things are lacking in Bristol.
Well, they're lacking. A lot of people think a lot more can be done, but it's a pretty successful city in many ways. Let's look at the transport, because that's probably what you're most expert in, isn't it, with the traffic that you've been doing. You've got some interesting ideas, like, I don't know, getting rid of one-way streets to make the traffic flow better?
Yeah. If I become the mayor, I have intention of getting rid of a one-way street in Bristol. And then again, some of the roads that were blocked before, I want to unblock them.
But narrow one-way streets, you're just going to get gridlock, aren't you?
Some of the one-way streets, they are not very narrow. Yeah. You know, they are not very narrow at all.
And the other thing you want to do as well is the 20 miles an hour. You want to get rid of that altogether?
Yes, I want to get rid of 20 miles per hour in Bristol because if you are driving at 20 miles per hour, you tend to cause a lot of pollution, and you tend to emit a lot of poisonous fumes, which is bad for the health of people. Yeah. It can cause asthma, cancer, and all sorts of diseases.
Yeah, and the other thing on the transport is this use of back streets and what we call rat runs, I suppose. Is that right? You want to use that? I mean, it's not going to be very popular with residents, is it?
Take for instance, if you want to go to, let's say, Filton, you can go through the back way, and it's more quicker to go to Filton. Also, I intend to create a lot
through residential areas rather than the main roads.
It's residential area, but you can get through residential area to Filton. Yeah. Because.
All right. So you're going to. Well, I don't know how popular that will be with the people living there. Festus, that particular policy, but let's move on to the poor, because that's something you do want to talk about as well, and that's and the housing and helping the different ethnicity in this city as well. What is it you want to do? Tell me what you think you can do to help out in that respect.
In respect of housing? In
the poor and the ethnic diversity.
Take for instance, the ethnic minorities in Bristol, they are neglected. So I want to bring loving joy to them. By doing so, I want to stage, let's say, like a St. Paul Festival every year, where you see a lot of ethnic groups mingled together, celebrating St. Paul Festival, both black and white. Yeah. I want to see it going. Yeah. It brings joys to many people, and it brings laughters.
Well, it had its problems, didn't it? Getting the organisation together, getting the management to work together. I think it's two out of the last 5 years, I think.
No, I don't think you have problems. Take for instance, some of the festivals are going in Bristol, like Baloo Festival, Wine Festival, Gay Festival. They're going in Bristol. Why not St. Paul Festival?
So make it simplified, get something going there and pull people together in the city. Are you going to be a mayor basically from the heart, do you think, Festus, as opposed to a mayor who's going to get into the bureaucracy and know how council house works and all of that? Do you have any experience in the big politics that it's going to take to run this city?
Experience have to start from somewhere.
But you could start from being a councillor. You haven't stood for council, or you haven't stood for politics. You're jumping straight in the deep end.
Yeah, I haven't stood for any of that. But I decided to stand for the mayor of Bristol because I have some good ideas to offer to the people of Bristol.
It's a leading question in a way, because I know the answer to this as to why you decided to stand. You had a bit of maybe help from above, did you, on this one?
No, I just have an urge, from God for me to stand as a candidate, and that is why I'm standing. And I want to move Bristol forward in terms of what I've told you, like transport, housing. Yeah.
So an urge from God. How did that manifest itself, Festus? How did you get this urge?
I just woke up one day, and from my dream, God urged me to stand for the mayor of Bristol. Yeah. And to help people of Bristol, and to bring my ideas to them.
What do your fellow cabbies think of all this then, when you tell them? I mean, one minute you're having a chat, out the window of the car, and the next you say, actually, I'm standing for mayor. I mean, they must have thought you were joking at first, did they?
Yeah, most of them, they are very happy for me to stand, and most of them, they are going to support me. Yeah. So that is the feedback I'm getting from them. Yeah.
And as far as the other side of things, you're a big sportsman, aren't you? You like to go out for a run in the mornings. You'll be encouraging sport and culture and all of that, won't you, in the city?
Yeah, I always go jogging in the morning. Not all the time, but
big
most
football
of the time.
fan.
Yeah, I like Bristol Rovers.
Yeah.
Bristol City.
Yeah, which one?
Bristol Rover and Bristol City. I like both of them.
Come on, get off the fence. Which do you support?
I support both of them because because they're in the city here.
Yeah.
And I support both of them.
Right. Just a quick answer. Do you think you got much chance in this or not?
Yeah, I think I have a very good chance.
All right.
And then I'm going to give it my best shot.
Well, you're a lovely man. It's a pleasure to meet you. Good luck, as with all the others. Thanks very much indeed for coming in to see us, Festus. Thanks a lot. So there we are. That's Mayor Festus Kinahimbu. Festus is one of a total field of 13 standing for Bristol Mayor. Here they all are. You can see them collectively and in person at the Bristol 24/7 hustings. Thursday night, broadcast live from the Colson Hall, only here on Made in Bristol TV from 7 o'clock. Could be a fiery one, so make sure you don't miss it. So no head-to-head tomorrow. I'll be back on Friday with the independent Tony Britt. So see you then from your City TV channel. Bye-bye from all of us here. Bye-bye.
Thank you.